video is about the Zhouyi and specifically about the first phase. First phase is a hunting mechanism built into all animals. All life form on our planet has the 4 phases. And because of this, we're predictable. We're predictable in how we will behave emotionally under stress. And what the Zhou, King Wen, of the Zhou recognized was that if you understand a person's emotional responses, what they'll do given certain circumstances, you can predict them. And if you can predict them, you can plan for it when you wage war. And this is what the Zhouyi was created for strategy. It's older than the I Ching, which is a book of divination, and I think may actually be a deliberate fraud, but I'll explain that later. The first phase is a hunting mechanism, as I said. As a hunting mechanism, it has to fulfill certain criteria. So, if we think about this in the form of a cheetah, a cheetah isn't going to go hunting if it's not hungry. But if it's too hungry, it's too keen, and will miss, it will make mistakes because it's desperate to catch what it's hungry for, or what it's wanting to eat to assuage its hunger. So for that reason, cheetah will start moving off to hunt prior to being desperate. So you know that feeling when you've had a meal and your stomach doesn't feel full any longer and you feel like doing something, but you don't quite feel ready to exert yourself excessively. That is when the cheetah will go hunting. Walks out, heads off in the direction of the nearest herd, antelope, and then it will choose its prey. When it sights its prey, if you think of the attitude of an animal which is going to kill, like a cat looking at a mouse hole, waiting for the mouse to stick its head out. It's sitting there, intently looking at the hole. Its tail may be twitching with anticipation. Its body might be trembling, but its eyes never leave the hole. When a cheetah is in the chase, it's as though its head is in a vice and its body is scrambling all over the place, trying to keep on line with the object of desire, the animal it's hunting. Same's true if you watch hawks. They hover, the head is still, the wings and the body are flapping all over the place, but the head never moves. It stays there, glued to what it's looking at. Well, if we approach archery in the same way, when we look at the target, as though it's going to move, As though we're going to miss the moment. All our focus, all of our awareness is in one direction, and one thing, just the target. The bow becomes part of your body. It's part of you. That takes practice. Shoot many arrows so that you forget about aiming, you forget about the bow, you forget about the string, you forget about, in my case, the thumb draw, and all you focus on is the target. Is it going to move? And if it moves, can I hit it before it goes too far? So the first phase is hunting. And hunting needs desire, hunger. We have to want to kill. So the first phase is made up of 3 meridians. There are 12 meridians. I'll put an image up so you can see where these 3 meridians run on the body. They run just under the surface of the skin. And to understand why meridians exist, we should consider a single cell organism, like an amoeba. Amoebas only have a skin, a membrane. That membrane has to be able to be manipulated. It doesn't have muscles, it doesn't have a bone structure. So if it doesn't have muscles, it doesn't have a nervous system, how does it move around? It has to have some mechanism to be able to control the outer membrane. And because meridians associate to survival functions and survival responses, it means that those meridians which associate with moving the body have to exist in the membrane. So this is why they're just under the skin. They relate or connect to internal organs. So the meridian has a certain amount of the feel of the organ, what the organ does. But also each of the meridians has an emotion, or 2 emotions associated with it. In the case of the stomach meridian, which is on the dramatic video as ST, it's desire, hunger, lust. And this is why it's associated with romantic love. Not love. That's part of the second phase. We'll get to that in another video. So you've got a single cell organism which divides into 2 sister single cell organisms. So they don't need sexual desire, but they do need to be able to eat. Otherwise, they're going to die. So when the single cell organism has divided, it's used up a lot of energy. So the first thing it has to do is to eat. And that is why the first phase is about hunger, about hunting, about desire, lust, passion. The second meridian is the bladder, BL, on the drawings. The bladder meridian gives us drive. The ST meridian gives us the purpose. We're hungry. We need to eat. But then we need the strength, the endurance to be able to pursue what we want to eat. And that's the bladder's job. As you can see, it runs down the back of the legs, whereas the stomach meridian starts here and runs down the front of the body and through the front of the legs. But you now want to hunt, you have the drive to be able to hunt. Where are you going to go? And this is the job of the third meridian, direction. It's about choosing what direction to take. Do you go left? Do you go right? Do you go forward? Do you go back? But this is also, say we're going shopping. You want a pair of walking boots. So all of those connections which we make, walking boots, hiking shop, way, all of that is direction. We go to town. We go to a specific shop. We go to a specific place in the shop. We're after boots. So knowing what we want allows us to choose the direction that we want to go. So if we're hungry, we want food. We go to the fridge. We go to the cupboard. We turn on the cooker. But as you'll see on the image where the head is shown, where these three meridians start, the stomach meridian, bladder meridian, gallbladder meridian, stomach meridian, bladder meridian, and gallbladder. And if you look at the way they move around the head before they go down the trunk, you'll see that they control the direction of the head. When we get to the body and where they lie in the body, you will see that the stomach meridian is here. So if it's working to pull on the membrane of the amoeba, then as we've evolved muscles underneath the meridian to perform the same task. So it pulls the body like that. The bladder meridian pulls the body like that. And if you're running as a four-legged animal, you're doing a movement like that. So you're tensing the front and then tensing the back. When you want to change direction, gallbladder. So if you watch a natural history program and you watch an animal running, you can see where these meridians are affecting it and how they're allowing it to run. I believe in the many techniques of improving your archery and the many bows. The more bows you have, the more you have to adapt, and the more often you shoot them, the more often you have to adapt. Therefore it concentrates your mind. So when the cheetah is lining up to go after its prey, every animal it kills is the first time, because they're going to behave differently. Every bow behaves differently. It causes arrows to behave differently. Every target you shoot, if you do 3D archery, they're all different because they're different shapes. They look like animals. Some are long and thin, some are long and thin that way, some are round, some are small, some are big, some are a long distance away, some are close. because of that, you're constantly having to adapt. You don't know what the distance is. But for the cheetah, there is a distance. That distance is its kill zone. How fast it can make it to the animal before it gets out of range. That's its kill zone. So, from the point of view of the prey animal, if the cheetah is outside of the cheetah's kill zone, it'll keep an eye on the cheetah, but it's not going to be all that bothered. The cheetah's there, but it's not a threat, because it's not inside of that kill zone. The job of the cheetah or any hunter is to get inside of that kill zone first. This is why they sneak up. This is why, as hunter, you would have to learn how to get as close as possible so they're in range of killing the animal with your arrow. So every animal has a kill zone. Our job, if you're a hunter, is to get inside of it. These three meridians work as a team, a sequence. We're hungry, we get the drive to go and look for food, and we know the direction to go. So that's the yang side of the survival mechanism. But there is another side, the yin side, and that prevents us from making mistakes. It is a mistake for a cheetah to go hunt with a full belly, because its full belly and the amount of blood is being used to digest the food. It means that if it runs, it's not going to run at its maximum speed. It's not going to react as fast. Large amounts of food sedate us. They sedate us because it's dangerous for us to go hunting if we're waddling around with a full belly. So we don't. So as we're slowly losing all of that food as we digest it, we begin to feel as though we want to do something, but we don't know what. Because we're not hungry. This is what we call boredom. I once listened to a farrier talking about a horse standing in his yard, and the horse was picking at grass. It wasn't bothered about the grass, it was just bored. This is what he said. It's bored, that's why it's eating grass. It's not hungry. Have a small amount of drive and purpose, but we don't have direction because we're not hungry, so the progression isn't really occurring. But if we've got energy and we don't know what to do with it, boredom, we can become destructive. We all know the child who is destructive because they're bored. Children playing in the house, don't be surprised if they break things. If it's raining outside and they're indoors, they have energy, they don't want to sit still. One of the things I discovered about the Zhouyi was that as I increasingly understood its complexity, I realized that what I was working with was an ancient system. The 4 phases relate to the 4 parts of yin yang. You see the teardrop, symbol of Tai Chi. They're constantly turning and evolving into each other, like our seasons of the year. So this is why it's a teardrop. The largest part with a little eye in the middle, if it's black, is greater yin. As it becomes thinner, it becomes lesser yin. The white area, the greatest size and area, is greater yang, and then lesser yang. So these are like our seasons, turning year. The ancient people divided that into months, phases of the moon. So each season ended up with 3. Those 3, because we manifest the same thing, yin and yang, in the way we think, the way we behave, the way our bodies behave, our health. Are we active? Are we tired? All of those things show yin and yang. And if yin and yang in the seasons of our year can be divided up into 12 sections, and subdivided into 3, 3, 3, 3. And we discover that there are meridians, and those meridians have increased amounts of bioenergy or chi at certain times of the day. You have to realize that we are also governed sets of 3. So each phase has 3 meridians. They all perform a survival response. So this initial stage of yin and yang and understanding who we are and what we do was done by a legendary person in China, or pre-China. It's called Zhouyi. He is attributed with teaching Chinese people farming, writing, culture. And he discovered these symbols, which hopefully I'll remember to put a picture of. And then as they were subdivided, the 4 becomes the 8. And Zhouyi is attributed with the first layout of the Bagua. Image please. And King Wen of the Zhou realized that there were more connections. These are the dynamic connections. I call them dynamic connections. I don't know what anybody else does. But I'll not talk about those dynamic connections in this video. It's complicated. And it takes quite a bit of explanation. So anyway, the first phase is hunting. Hunting for anything. Advancement in our job. Anything, absolutely anything, is governed by our desire to hunt, our lust. So the first phase controls running and movement, walking. Humans is more complicated to realise because we are bipedal, so we're using these meridians alternatively as we walk. But if you look at chimpanzees, when they're moving quickly, they're exerting this movement. So our cheetahs, lions, four-legged animals all do it. Even trotting on a horse is alternate. So humans trot when they run. The meridian of the stomach relates to the organ of the stomach, the bladder to the bladder, the gallbladder to the gallbladder, where it also performs these other functions about the muscles which have evolved underneath the meridian to help us move. Help us do archery. But it is important to realise that whenever we're doing something where there is a target, something to aim at, something you want, whether it's sticking an arrow into it or whether it's sword fencing and hitting a particular area of a person's body, you have to focus purely on that part of their body. Nothing else. There is only one thing, and that's you and the target. The bow, the sword, everything. They're all just the means by which you do it.